Hi, I'm Dwight from Robust Spectrum Outdoors, and today I'm going to talk about a little bit of the bow basics. So when you have a bow, you have the axle to axle, you'll see, you have the brace height, the color, all different types of things that relates to a bow when you're going to go shop for a bow. But most times the customer doesn't know exactly what to ask for. So I'm going to give a brief description of what some of this means in a bow and kind of what aspects will play into what you're wanting to purchase and ultimately ask for when you go to a shop and you try out the different bows. And I want to start off by saying, when you go to a shop, try the different bows. It's very important to draw the bow back, shoot the bow, and most times you're not going to have a sight on the bow, but just purely by drawing the bow back, you're going to get a good aspect of that experience with the bow. So we'll start off by the axle to axle, and really what does that mean? So, as you see here, the top axle and you have the bottom axle of the bow. And the axle is simply a bar that goes right through the limbs and connects the cam and allows the cam to rotate. So you have the top axle here and the bottom axle here. On this Elite Ritual, it's about 33 inches and a quarter. So we might call this a 33-inch axle bow. And that also correlates to forgiveness and other things and accuracy. The longer axle bow you have, you're going to see that in tournaments and in 3D archery, because it gives a little more accuracy out of it and balance to the bow. The shorter the axle to axle, you're going to see more hunting type bows, and they're a little bit harder to shoot, and the balance may be a little bit off. And the next thing you're going to see is brace height. And for this bow has a 6 3/4 inch brace height. And basically what that means is from the inside of the grip to the string is 6 inches and 3/4. And with that, the shorter brace height you'll have, the the faster the bow would be. And the farther brace height, farther it goes out, like a 7-inch, 7.5, you're going to see that more tournament bows. And that usually gives you more forgiveness in shooting with the bow. The next thing you'll see with the bows is a 60 pound, a 70 pound, 80 pound, 40 pound, or 50 pound bow. And basically what that correlates to is the max poundage. So this is a 60 pound bow. So when my limbs turned all the way in, you have a bolt right here on the limbs itself. And basically what that means is if those cranked all the way in, I'll get about 60 pounds out of this bow. And most manufacturers, you can loosen those up and you can go down to 10 pounds. So I can maybe go down all the way to 50 pounds, as light as 50 pounds if I need to for this bow. So if you buy a 70 pound bow, you're going down to 60 pounds on most manufacturers. And most manufacturers will tell you how many, with it tightened all the way in, how many screws, max screws, you can loosen it out before the limbs come off the riser. And then that's what you don't want to have happen. For me, I'm comfortable shooting at 60 pounds, so I want to max that out to keep the most efficiency, get the most efficiency out of the bow, and have that maxed out. The sight is all personal preference. You can get a sight, the rest, and the stabilizers on the bow, and that's all personal preference and what you might. But you definitely want to spend good money on the bow itself, the riser and the limbs. And I ultimately recommend most people get a 60 pound bow. You go out there, shoot hundreds of arrows, not get yourself too worn out. But if you get that 70 pound bow and you crank it up to 70 pounds, it's going to be uncomfortable to shoot the more arrows you put down range and how much you practice. So for me, a 60 pound bow shoots great. It does really well and shoots like a dream. It allows me to go out and shoot 100 arrows and at the end of the day not be completely worn out and have that hold affect my shot. So going into the other thing with bows is you'll see a let-off percentage, where I think the Elite Ritual here that I have is advertised anywhere between 75 to 90% let-off. And basically, so if the bow is set at 60 pounds and it's a 90% let-off, what that means is a full draw, I'm only holding 10% of that 60 pounds. So I'm really holding about, 6 pounds? So that's what you want to correlate it to. The more let-off percentage you have, usually, yes, it's easier to hold back, but you're also going to have the bow want to creep forward a little bit more on you when you bring the draw back in, because it's going to pull that. It's got a pretty high valley. For the bow I like it around 80% to 85% let off. It gives me that adjustment to be able to pull back. I'm still holding a pretty light amount of weight, but it helps my shot. That's where you see most tournament bows at 65 to 60, sometimes even lower than that % let off, because those target archers want to hold more weight to get that balance to stabilize their shot. Where hunters, they want the higher let off because they have to hold back on a deer and follow the track of the deer for a little while. They don't want to be worn out and have that pull going. But realize, once you start creeping forward and you have the higher let off, it's really going to want to take it from you. depending on the bow manufacturer. Some are different. The Elite Ritual here, it's got adjustable percent let off, and that's one thing I like. Certain bows are set at 85%, 75%. You can't adjust it or put new pegs in there. But with the Elite Ritual, you can adjust it and get it in there. I think it's somewhere right now I have it set around 85% let off, and that's what I like. The next thing you're going to encounter is different riser material. You'll encounter aluminum risers, carbon risers, and you may think, which one's right for you? That really all depends. You're going to pay more for the carbon risers because they're more expensive. In the wintertime, the advantage is with the carbon riser, it doesn't soak up that energy from your grip. If I'm with bare skin touching an aluminum riser, it's going to be cold to the touch, and it's going to soak that energy, warmth out of my body. You'll know this if you've ever been on an aluminum boat in the summertime and it's really hot. The aluminum is really hot. Or if you've been on an aluminum boat in the cold and the aluminum is really cold itself. So that's ultimately the difference. With that carbon, you touch the carbon, it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be zapping that heat from you. And that's one advantage to that. There's different style bows. You have binary cams, hybrid cams, single cams. Like Matthews came out a couple years with no cam. They're all wonderful systems. Ultimately, you're going to have to go to the shop, shoot the different cam systems, and decide which one's right for you. For me, I really like this Elite Ritual. It's got a binary cam system, which I think is very simple, very basic, easy to tune. It just works really well for me. Alright, so you may have the question now, I'm a hunter, I may be hunting in a blind, what axle to axle bow do I want? So this is where it gets into personal preference, but I would say you want to stick with something around 30 to 32 inch axle to axle. Something long enough you're going to get what you need, but short enough to be able to maneuver in the blind. They even have bows out to 28 inch axle to axle. That's really short, so that's going to give you that maneuverability. But it is going to sacrifice some in accuracy regard. It's just not going to be as stable as, say, a 34 or 33 or even 35, 36 inch axle to axle bow. So if you're one that's wanting to do hunting in 3D, you might look at, I'd say, at least 32 inch axle to axle bow. Something you can still hunt with maneuver, but it's going to give you a little more stability. So take a look at those. I would, if you're a hunter and you're going to do, maybe you hunt 10% and you do the rest target, I would avoid anything over 35 inch axle to axle. It's just going to get too big and too cumbersome to maneuver in a blind or a tree stand. So that's my 2 cents. Just go to the shop, try it out, talk to your different sales reps, but have an idea of what you want going into it. That will really help, because what you're going to do, if you don't, you'll be talked into buying a bow that doesn't really suit you, and then a year or two down the road when you know more about the bows and archery, you're going to have to buy a new bow. In a nutshell, there you have it, folks. Just kind of a little bit of basic information before you go into a shop and you're looking at bows, kind of ultimately what you want, so you know when you're reading the specs what they're talking about. Thank you for watching, and if you like, please like and hit subscribe.